Okay, here's a warning. This is just a rant video. And I'm ranting for a very specific reason. I did a live stream last night with the American Joe Show. American Joe Show will admit to you that he's a statist. I appeared on his show so that we could have a civil, honest dialogue about, in this case it was about the Project Veritas / censorship with Google / what should we do, should the government be involved, and all that kind of stuff. Now, I saw some comments under that video and under my community post and under a couple of my recent videos calling American Joe names. The point of my channel, guys, is to try to make a better world. And I don't see how it's possible to make a better world when we're casting ad hominems at people. Now, constructive, legitimate, respectful criticism, not talking about that. Not talking about that. I'm just talking about why call somebody a name? Why do that? Now, I understand talking about a public figure like AOC or Harry Reid or Nancy Pelosi, which I call Nazi Pelosi, or Dianne Feinstein, which I call Dianne Frankenstein. There's a reason I call Nancy Pelosi Nazi Pelosi, because she's trying to enact socialist programs that restrict Americans, not free Americans, okay? So, and I want to say this with the caveat of there are legitimate times, I think, where we can involve ourselves in maybe more base conversations, like calling AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It is funny. It is funny to try to regulate cow farts, to make the world a better place, to institute the green $93 trillion New Deal. I'm not saying there's not a place for that, but I'm just saying, how is it productive to, I think American Joe and other people that I disagree with on the political right, conservative, Republican, whatever you want to call it, and even on the Democrat side, there's some people who are liberally minded that aren't, SJW Fruit Loops. See, there I go, ad hominem. There is a place for that. So it may sound like I'm trying to doublespeak, but really what I'm doing with this rant is trying to work things out. I don't have all the answers. A lot of that stuff is funny. How, you can make fun of, the reason I call her Dianne Frankenstein is because it's ghoulish. It's immoral to want to take somebody's Second Amendment right away from them. Want to take somebody's right to defend themselves as a human being away. It's ghoulish. It's Frankensteinian, if you want to put it that way. But I don't see any benefit, and I don't see how we can gain any ground if we, on the ground, us little people who aren't a part of the elites, I think anybody who's part of the United States corporate entity under Title 28, Section 300215A, the United States is a federal corporation. Those guys are fair game. They are way out to lunch. It's kind of like a pedophile. When you've reached that level of degradation of the brain, where you're going to look at a kid and get sexually aroused and then want to prey on them, you've gone what I consider to be beyond the pale of hope. Those people are in a completely different arena, just like the puppeticians. I call them puppeticians, not politicians. They're puppeticians. They've gone off the deep end. They're getting corporate rewards from this corporate entity to create more laws to restrict Americans, to restrict their movement, to restrict their rights, to restrict their freedom of speech, whatever. They've gone off the deep end, and they are fair game. I don't think there's an ounce of anything in those, and I'm including people like Dan Crenshaw, Mr. Extreme Risk Protection Order, AOK, Red Flag Law, Dan Crenshaw. If you come against anybody's individual rights, I don't care who you are. I don't care if there's an R or a D beside your name. You're a corporate employee accepting $174,000 a year, because that's what the base congressman makes. $174,000 a year. It comes to about like $467 an hour. That's if they worked a 20/80 work week, 40 hours a week, which they don't. And even if they do, they're working against us, not for us, because the more laws that they make, the less free we are. I don't care if it's Dan Crenshaw, Ted Cruz, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Frankenstein. I don't care who it is, Donald Trump. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. George Bush, Richard Nixon, doesn't matter. If they come one iota against individual liberties, they are to be rejected on the grounds of morality and just base human compassion and love. Forget about the Constitution. If you're going to do to others what you wouldn't want done to you, you're being a garbage human, is the bottom line. And that's not how I see American Joe. I see American Joe just like I see me. We're in the same boat as far as, hey, we're trying to work things out. Things don't make sense here. This is how I was raised, or this is the ideology I currently have at this present time. I like Steven Crowder's Socratic method. Okay, ... change my mind. Socialism is evil. Change my mind. Use the Socratic method. Use logic. Use truth. Use reason. Don't use ad hominems. If you disagree with somebody, let them know. It's like this thing with on my second to the last video with the disconnect and San Joaquin Valley transparency. They put out these videos saying, okay, here, Brian, here's where you're wrong. You need to correct this and all this kind of stuff. I mean, for the most part, other than some comments that I saw under their videos, we're being quite respectful. Matter of fact, most people were being respectful. And I think most people are respectful because they just want to live at peace. But the bottom line is, it does no good for us on the ground to be tearing each other up, because that's why I'm against the left versus right paradigm lie, because the elites have created this umbrella of there's two political parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, the conservatives and the liberals, and then we're at each other's throats while in the background, what's always hanging around in the cloud. It's always hanging around in the cloud. The Federal Reserve and the domestic terror cell known as the IRS is constantly working violence and terrorism against the people that these public servants are claiming to step in the fray and defend and protect. Oh yeah, if you want to defend and protect my rights, then drop the threat that I have to pay property taxes to keep my land. Drop the threat that you got to pay registration or you can't drive on the public roadways. Drop the income tax, the immoral, unjust income tax. Do you realize if you don't pay your property taxes, a lien will be put against your house and it will go into foreclosure? You don't really own your property. You're paying rent to the landlord. And who's the landlord? Probably the Queen. Dig into it. Maybe, I don't know. Check it out. But I just want to say one thing real quick. Not everything that is true is right. Let me give you an example. It is true that adults, male adults, old guys, people who should know better, prey on children. They're called pedophiles. It's true that there are pedophiles, and it's wrong. It's not right for them to be pedophiles. But something true in this life is, gosh, they exist. Dang it. Here's another thing that's true. If you have a monopoly on force, violence, and theft, then you're in the position to create laws and make people do things against their will, or they're subject to your punishment. That's true. It's true. There are people like that. They're psychopaths. They're sociopaths. It's true, but it's not right. There are things in this world that are true, but are just not right. Why is it not right? Because it goes against the golden rule. Do to others what you would want done to you. If you don't want to be bombed, don't want to look for bombing Iran. If Iran comes over here and they start threatening us, then it's all right of self-defense to preserve our lives and the lives of our loved ones and the lives of our country. You want to go to war against somebody? Wait till they come over here. Don't just go initiating force everywhere you want to because you're trying to preserve the petrodollar Ponzi scheme for the Federal Reserve banking cartel. All right, I got to clock in here, guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for tuning in. That's kind of my little rant. It's probably all over the board, but the bottom line, let's treat others the way we would want to be treated. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next, seriously, heavily censored, shadow banned video. Love you.